Alright everybody, welcome back to the channel. It is the 20th of July 2022. We're looking at GBP JPY. Now, for all those of you that are mega bullish still, that have been trading this all the way up, close your ears, turn off the video if you don't want to hear what I'm about to say, because I'm going to say that we're going to be looking at quite a big move down with GBP JPY, probably in the next, I'd say probably the next week or so. It's hard to tell how long. But I'm going to be giving you a case that's going to be telling you that this is not the time to be buying if we're going swing long on this pairing. Now, reason being, let's get right into it. First of all, we're looking at the weekly here. As you can see, we're in an uptrend. Clearly, we're in an uptrend. So everyone's like, okay, why would you be talking about downside? All right, it's pretty simple. We've got high highs on the weekly, right? This is coming alongside some bearish divergence on the weekly. Hidden bearish divergence, whatever you want to call it. We've got bearish divergence on the weekly, right? What happened last time we had this? We had right here, right? Which was May 2021 and October 2021. So you can have a look here. We had the same bearish divergence. And what was the move last time? Where do we come back to? We came back to the green 55 EMA, which miraculously lined up with this very strong level of support and resistance. Where do we have the green 55 coming up around here? Creeping slowly up right now, right around this very strong level of support. So if we get this to play out, this will be the target, right? Now, there's plenty more things that are telling me that it's complement with this target, even toward this wick area, and it's based on the fibs. So bringing more strength to this case, we're going to have a look at the daily, and we're going to be having a look at what's happened recently. So yeah, we can say we're in an uptrend on the weekly, but on the daily, that's another story, right? Because we had high, we had a low, so it was a higher low at that point, lower high, right? Our first lower high on the daily, and we had a break of structure. We had our first lower low. So we're in a downtrend on the daily. So what do I naturally do? Other than looking at levels, I naturally put on a Fibonacci retracement to see what are the likely areas that it could retrace to. Now, you can see GBP JPY. It's a bit, it's not the cleanest chart. If you're asking me, we've got a clear level here, right? This level here, I'd say here and here will create the zone. Now let's have a look at where I already have. Yeah. So don't get too bogged down on what I've got here right now, guys. But you can see here, this is purple, and purple is my daily. So we could just literally, just for, to make it easier to look at, we could just say, all right, let's just put this here. All right, so that's our daily zone. Yep, easy to tell that one. Other than that, this yellow one's my 4 hours, but purple as well. So we've got a big range. We could be saying that the range is from this level here around the $161, $162 upwards to around the 167, 168 area. I would say that's our larger term range, if you want to say that. But let me just get rid of this because I don't want that there. Now, to go back here, we had the break of structure, right? First side, lower high, lower low, break of structure on the daily, and we've got bearish divergence on the weekly. Now, if we're looking at targets, as I said, that would have been a target, but that's right up. That's right where we bounced. We didn't really see any hesitation there, other than we had our little bounce here, which you'll see here. I always indicate the first little bounce on a retrace isn't usually the one. If we had have taken our, should we get rid of this? That's fine. Let's get rid of it. Let's get rid of it. Keep it nice and neat here, right? Now, get rid of this and I'll draw it with you. So, if we had look at, okay, we've got this bearish retracement now. We want to draw it from top to bottom. Sorry, I'm getting it very exact, as you can see. Yep, top to bottom, there and there. Now we can see what are our likely areas, right? The 382 is sitting around here, where we can see a couple of little, stutter steps. We've got closing bodies, closing bodies, closing bodies. Yep, that's a level where it could have retraced to, but it just blew right past that. What did it do? It first came to the 50%, which is lines up with these wick areas, this wick area, wicks, wick. Beautiful. That could have been our level. That was our first bounce rejection. which was I always indicate that with a little asterisk. Sorry, not asterisk, exclamation mark. That was our first. That's not the signal. Yes, we've got a rejection there. That's not the signal. I always look for the first, and then the second or the third is usually where we find the top on the retracement, right? What do we see? We've seen today, or a couple of days ago, we wicked right close to it, right closer to 786, which is this blue one here, which lines up with this wick area. You know, pretty much lines up with this area here, these closing bodies. So yes, it is a relevant level of resistance. Now we can see that, although it didn't quite touch on this day, we did see today wick right up to it. And what are we seeing now on the lower term time frames? On the 6 hour, we're seeing a bearish engulfing. Beautiful. So we've seen a rejection candle up a little higher, bearish engulfing. This is a high. High. What do we see again on the RSI? Bearish divergence. On the 6 hour, we've got it on the weekly. The 6 hour, we have it on the 4 hour. I know we do. Yes, we do. Very slightly. Here and here, high highs. What do we have? Slightly lower. Not very relevant. Not. It is relevant, but not very much. Right. But let's go back to here. What I like about this more than the fact that we've had the bearish divergence is we do have bearish divergence, but we've broken below the exponential, right? The EMA, I should say, yeah. Broke below the EMA on both the 4 and the 6 hour. You can see here again, we'll get into it. Yeah, broken below. Now I like to use trend lines on the RSI. Find that they tend to work quite nicely. So you've got the trend line here, right? Bang, 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 broken below. That's on the 6 hour. So we're in an EMA break, and we've got the trend line break on both the 4 and the 6 hour. I wonder if this even goes all the way out there. Yep, this is even a break there, but fucking trend lines, right? Very, 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 very objective. Got a break there, and that's lining up with the EMA. So this is another little signal that's telling me we could have this break. Now, bearish engulfing on the 4 hour. Wick up, bearish engulfing, bearish divergence. 6 hour, exactly the same thing. Bearish divergence, and it's right around that 786 level, which is confluent with all these wick areas touching here. Wick, this is level, this is relevant here, this spot here. Closing bodies, wick, 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 wick. Fucking hell, what more do you need? This could be where your entry was if you want it to be as clear, as simple as that. You just want to enter on a bearish engulfing. That could be what you would want to do. So for shits and giggles, I'm glad I'm recording this so we can see what happens with this in the next days, weeks, whatever it takes. I don't really know, don't really care how long it takes, but there's plenty of things right now that are telling me that it could be coming back. Now, if we look at those levels matching up for the targets, right, we looked at the weekly and we said, all right, last time the weekly did this, it came back to the green 55 EMA, right? Bang, bang. Now, as we saw on the daily right there, the level that we're retracing to and getting rejected from is the 786. What did we see? Let's go back to the weekly. What did we see happen on this move? What was the retrace? When do we have a break of structure? That's why I've got this highlighted. I was just looking at this beforehand. So if we go to the daily now, what do we see? All right, we can leave this off now. So we see our high, bearish engulfing. That's irrelevant right now because we're still on an uptrend. But yeah, we're gonna have to go down to the lower term time frames to see what this looks like. But this was our first break of structure on the 4 hour, which we'll get into. But on the daily, it was pretty much just a rejection all the way down. Here was your first little bounce all the way down back to that green 55, which was that major level of support. So this one just came down, didn't really take a step. This one, we've seen the break of structure, and we've seen quite a big bounce up on the 786. But if we have a look at the 4 hour, we're going to see that exact same thing happen. It's absolutely beautiful. Where have we got? Here we go. Cool. Now, what do we see? 4 hour. We see higher, low. Sorry, lower, higher, low. Actually, let's just fucking have a look. Is this actually the first lower high? Yep, this is the first lower high. So here we had an uptrend all the way up. We got our first lower high, and we got our first breaker structure, right? Because that was the level there. So we got our first breaker structure there. We got our first high, first lower high there. What do we want to put on? Let's put on a little fucking cute little arrow. Hey, let's go back. Cool. Now we've had our first lower high. We've got a breaker structure, and we've got a low put in here. Yeah, cool. I've got that. Now, what do we have? We get a retrace pretty much right to the 618. Let's make that a bit more even so you can see. Yeah, pretty much right to the 618. So we've got it to that wick high, to this low, rejected. Here rejected at 618. Come back down to the negative 618. Beautiful, fucking hell. These fibs, the way it's respecting these fib levels is beautiful. But then here we see another big bounce up to the 618. Now, if you want to show and say, okay, when we looked at the daily, you couldn't really pinpoint. You couldn't really pinpoint that break of structure there because all this was a one great big down movement, right? But if we were to say, okay, that was the low here, where did it retrace to? Fucking hell, this is annoying when it does that, isn't it? Cool. Alright. Where did it retrace to? So if we say, okay, this wasn't the low. Well, that played out perfectly. But if we say on the daily, this was the low, right? From this high to this low, what do we come to? 786. What are we looking at right now on GBP JPY on that daily? What's it coming to? 786. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Before it gets stuffed all the way back down, bounces along the way, of course it does. But it comes all the way back to the green 55, right? Now let's makes a little bit of sense of this again. Cool. All the way back to the green 55. Let's get that off. Back to the green 55 before creating an uptrend and going onwards and upwards again. So this could be potentially what's happening now. This could be potentially what's happening now. I would say, you know, you might be saying, oh, how are we going to know it's happening? You don't. That's trading. You know when it happens. That's when you know. You build a case, whether it's long or short, you build your case, and then you make a decision. You put risk on. How much are you willing to risk? How much are you willing to potentially lose to see if you're right on this? Now, would you hold it all the way down to this level here, which would be where the green 55 is on the weekly? That's a beautiful risk reward. All right, 6.5. Would you wait all the way down there? Of course not. You can take a profit along the way. I'll be taking some here, based at this level. You know, because we'll probably have a bit of a bounce at this point. I'll be taking off some here, right, at this daily level. A lot of action around here. Yep, taking some off here, and then going for your final take profit here. This could be magical. It might not. It could just put in another higher low on the 4 hour and start making a run upwards again. Could do that, but there's too many things that are telling me that we've got a potential top here. I could be way too early calling this, but you never know. All these things are telling me that it is possible. So if you don't go long, if you don't go short, then I'll be pretty hesitant to be going long right now and buying these breakouts and buying these breakouts and these breakouts, because we could come to this. We could come to the 886 and then get that big move down. We don't know, but right now we're getting these bearish divergences on the 4 hour and 6 hour. We've got it on the weekly. Lower term time frames is showing us a bit of exhaustion, right? Not only on the RSI, but it's showing us in price action too, right at significant levels. So fuck, what else do you need? I know what I'm doing, guys. But look, be patient, make your own decisions, and we'll touch base again soon when we can see if this move actually plays out or not. All right, peace, guys.